The streets of Baku played host to the 8th qualifying session of the season yesterday, and it was a front row lockout for the Force India team, with Sergio Perez securing pole position ahead of his teammate. However, a 5-place grid penalty handed to both drivers in Saturday's free practice free session demoted Perez to P6 and Hulkenberg to P7. That means that former Force India driver Hayden Gullis inherits top spot in his Red Bull after a stunning qualifying session yesterday to put himself in P3. Joining Gullis on the front row of the grid will be the Haas driver of Esteban Gutierrez, who had a great qualifying session yesterday and will be elated to start in P2. Williams Racing have been struggling in recent qualifying sessions, but they shocked the whole field after both drivers made it into Q3 yesterday, with Felipe Massa qualifying in P8 and Valtteri Bottas just behind him in P9. However, there were disappointing qualifying sessions for Lewis Hamilton, Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel, who all got knocked out in Q1, and they will start at the back of the field. So that is your qualifying roundup ahead of today's race. Up next is the European Grand Prix. What is up, people, and welcome back to part 92 of my F1 2016 career mode. It's round 8 of season 5. It is the European Grand Prix on the streets of Baku in Azerbaijan. We are up for a fantastic race here today. Both Force India drivers are looking quick, especially down the straights in towards turn 1, but a 5-place grid penalty for both of them in free practice free has put them way down the back of the field, not the back of the field, way down in towards 6th and 7th position. So we're very happy with that. Starting at the front of the field, look at the Constructors' Championship at the moment. Force India lead the way, but we'll be hoping to maybe close up the gap here today. And there we are, lining up in pole position. Bit of a surprise one for myself as we get underway with the formation lap here today. Yeah, it's slightly surprising to get myself up into pole position. I was expecting maybe to get knocked out in Q2 once again, but for some reason, I guess we just managed to find the pace maybe down the straights. I have got a setup for straight line speed, so maybe that was what got us into Q3, and a bit of luck got us up into P3, and then a bit of luck putting us onto the pole thanks to Sergio Perez and Nico Hulkenberg having those 5-place grid penalties. But as we have a look at the driver's standings coming into today's race, Sergio Perez leads the way on 126 points. 30 points is the gap at the moment to myself, lining up in second place with Jenson Button in third and Fernando Alonso in fourth. Only 2 points separating the two McLaren drivers, so very close at the moment in the standings between those two. And then we have Nico Hulkenberg in fifth, and you can't quite see it, but Daniel Ricciardo lines up sixth in the driver's standings. Nothing separating both the teammates of the two title contenders as we come in towards this slow left then right chicane. Yeah, slightly strange to get myself up into pole position, but I'm very happy with today's race result, today's qualifying result. But it's Esteban Gutierrez qualifying in second place alongside me, Carlos Sainz third and Nico Rosberg in fourth. Then it's Fernando Alonso in fifth and Sergio Perez lines up in sixth after the grid place penalty. Nico Hulkenberg lines up in seventh with Massa in eighth, Bottas in ninth, Palmer in 10th and Jenson Button will start in P11. Kvyat starts 12th with Grosjean in 13th, Raikkonen 14th, Haryanto 15th, then the Emmanuel Verline in 16th with Felipe Nasr in 17th, Magnussen 18th, Ericsson 19th, then Lewis Hamilton, Daniel Ricciardo and Sebastian Vettel all at the back of the grid. And it's a very disappointing qualifying session for those three drivers. But what can they do from the back of the field? You know, strategy comes into it, a safety car or something like that, and they can certainly get back up into the field. And let's have a look at the race strategy for today's race. The team wanting me at the moment to start on the super soft tyres and then go to a set of medium tyres till the end of the race. We have struggled across the seasons with tyre wear at this circuit, so we may change it slightly and we may not start on those we will start on the super soft tyres, sorry, but we may not do the one stopper. We may change it up to the two stopper, but we'll see how the race progresses and how it goes on as we come down in towards the final section now. Obviously this is going to be a tricky sector for us in the race. The Red Bull doesn't have the greatest of straight line speeds at the moment. We are working on that, but I don't think it will ever be to the standard that we had with Force India in Season 3 and Season 4, yes. So unfortunately we will never have that pace that we have had in the past. But here we are coming down to the starting grid now. The cars are lining up in the field, getting ready for the race start. We have Esteban Gutierrez lining up alongside us in second place. A great result for the Mexican driver. Then, of course, Sainz in third and Nico Rosberg in fourth. But let's get ready for the race start, of course, for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Here we go then on the grid as the lights come on. It's 5 red lights, it's lights out, and away we go for the European Grand Prix in Azerbaijan. Down in towards turn 1. Looks like we are completely unchallenged as Esteban Gutierrez got off to an awful start down in towards turn 1. Yellow flag came out momentarily. There was a bit of a collision down in towards turn 1. Hopefully, we'll have a replay of exactly what went on there. But all the cars getting through nice and cleanly in towards turn 2. Yes, nice and tidy from everybody behind me. I've got Carlos Sainz closing me down in P2. Isn't that a blast from the past? Both of us, of course, challenging for the championship back in Season 3. Carlos Sainz inevitably winning that battle. But for now, we are in front of Carlos Sainz, and we'll be hoping to keep it that way as we have a look at a replay of what exactly happened at the race start. So, Esteban Gutierrez gets off to a terrible start, and then down towards turn 1, we have another Haas driver. Is that Gutierrez gone for a spin? Was his start that bad that he went for a spin down in towards turn 1? I'm not too sure. I can't see the helmet on the driver. No, it's Roman Grosjean. Roman Grosjean having the collision down in towards turn 1. He just gets tagged from the back, pushed into the Toro Rosso of Dani Kvyat, and then he went for a spin. And unfortunately, that's going to put him right down to the back of the field and completely damaging his front wing at the moment. So that is a disastrous start there for Roman Grosjean. Let's watch on board with the man of Rio Haryanto, who just goes into the back of Grosjean, pushing him into the Toro Rosso of Dani Kvyat. And unfortunately for Roman Grosjean, that is a lot of time lost in today's race. Sebastian Vettel, what's happened to the Ferrari driver down in towards turn 1? A good start compared to Lewis Hamilton. There's the Haas spinning, and he just has nowhere to go. He probably could have taken more of the track on the right-hand side, but decided to keep it on the black stuff. And unfortunately, in doing so, meant that he went into the Haas driver of Roman Grosjean, and that means he's broken part of his front wing here today as we're watching on board with the Mercedes of Nico Rosberg going for the overtake on Carlos Sainz. This is the battle for second place. This will be who will hunt me down over the course of the next 10 laps before we make our pit stop. Carlos Sainz still battling away though against Nico Rosberg. He wants to hold on to that second place. They go down in towards turn 2 now. Nico Rosberg holding on around the outside to Carlos Sainz down the long back straight of down in towards turn 3 as we've got a Force India of Sergio Perez, who has made a storming drive through the field. He's now going to go up the inside down in towards turn 3, and he's taken 2 drivers in the space of 1 corner. Unbelievable stuff from Sergio Perez. That is why he is currently leading the championship as the yellow flag has come out behind us. Carlos Sainz looks like he may have lost out there to Esteban Gutierrez as well. Yes, he has. And safety car has been deployed in today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So how will this play to our strategy? Let's watch a replay of what exactly happened to bring out the safety car. We're watching on board with, I believe this is Kimi Räikkönen at the moment, who goes side by side with Dani Kvyat all the way down in towards turn 1. This long start finish straight in towards turn 1 now, still side by side between the 2 drivers. Kvyat holding it around the outside of turn 1. Can he do it in towards turn 2 though? Still side by side between these 2, battling away. That's the good thing about this circuit. If you're side by side down in towards turn 1, you can hold it all the way down in towards turn 3. There are a lot of side by side battles happening at this race here today. It looks like a Sauber of Nasser goes to make it 3 wide, and then the other Sauber of Marcus Ericsson makes it 4 wide down in towards turn 3. You're not going to fit 4 drivers into there. We learned that in Canada down in towards the Wall of Champions. Okay, this track is slightly wider, but still 4 wide is never going to work. It's the 2 on the outside, Dani Kvyat and Kimi Räikkönen, who come off worse in towards that corner. Let's watch on board with Dani Kvyat, who sort of, you know, had the worst pot of luck there down in towards turn 3 on the outside, straight into the barrier, has to reverse up, and then actually goes into the back of Kimi Räikkönen as well before getting underway. And the safety car, of course, is deployed here today, and that means we're going to be coming into the pits very, very early here on lap 3. We're supposed to be coming into the pits maybe about lap 6 on this race, so by the time the safety car comes in, it's going to be about the same anyway. Yes, we could have held on to these tyres and maybe taken them to about lap 10 and then made the one-stopper work. At the end of the day, I made a rush decision to come into the pits now and make this 2-stopper, and hopefully we come out on top at the end of the day. We're just going to have to wait to see a 2.5 second stop there from the Red Bull team. Still good pit stop, not quite as good as we saw back in Canada, but still a 2.5 second stop. It's really good there from the team. So we nearly dive up the inside of Felipe Nasser down towards turn 2, but remember we are under safety car conditions, so are no overtaking. We're still in P8 though, which is pretty good despite pitting from the lead. Let's watch a replay now of what happened to Marcus Ericsson. So he goes up the inside, makes it 4 wide into this corner, just gets absolutely squeezed by everybody and actually comes out on top. So despite causing that collision, he has come out the better of all the other drivers. No penalty awarded as well to Marcus Ericsson. So we're brilliant there from the Sauber driver to sort of like cause a collision and then come out better than everybody else, as the safety car is going to be coming in this lap. We're right behind Pascal Wehrlein in P5 at the moment. Green flag is going to be underway any moment now. as we go down in towards turn 1. Green flag and the racing is underway here at the European Grand Prix, but the yellow flag is out. Jolyon Palmer out of this race. We're unable to go for the overtake on Pascal Wehrlein. Slight contact, wheel-to-wheel action between myself and the Manor, and unfortunately because of that yellow flag down in towards turn 1, that meant that we couldn't go for the overtake and move ourselves up into P4, which is slightly disappointing. So thank you very much for that, Jolyon Palmer. But we've seen that so many times in this career mode, where the safety car, as soon as it comes in, a driver has a problem. No doubt it was an engine failure for Jolyon Palmer. We'll get confirmation for this now as we have a look at a replay down in towards turn 1. So Jolyon Palmer doesn't sound right, and no, it's definitely not right there. Smoke pouring out of the back of that Renault car, and Jolyon Palmer having to pull off to the side of the road, and that is him out of today's race. A disappointment there for the Renault driver. But cracking on with our own race, still in P5, as it looks like a driver is coming into the pits now. That's Rio Haryanto in the other Manor. So both Manors were running in the top 4 before that moment there, as Rio Haryanto came into the pits. So slightly impressive from both Manors. What can they do in today's race? We now cut ahead 1 lap later. It looks like there's another driver into the pits. Not too sure who that was. I believe it might have been Fernando Alonso, or it could have been my teammate of Daniel Ricciardo, who comes into the pits as well, as we cut ahead to lap 9 now. Following behind the McLaren and the Manor of Jenson Button and Pascal Wehrlein down in towards turn 1. Going to pick up such a huge amount of slipstream and straight line speed down in towards turn 1. Look at the pace in this Red Bull. We usually don't have any pace at all, but look at that down towards turn 1, thanks to the OP straight line speed from the DRS and the slipstream all the way down in towards turn 1. We've got the job done on Wehrlein as he came into the pits, but Jenson Button as well, and we move up into the lead of today's race. But can Jenson Button come back at us down in towards turn 2? Both of us having DRS thanks to Pascal Wehrlein being ahead of us before the DRS detection zone. Down in towards turn 3, side by side between myself and Jenson Button, momentarily banging against the barrier there as we go down in towards turn 4. Oh, slight amount of contact between myself and JB, squeezing him into the barrier. I'm not too sure if he made contact with it or not, but we get the job done. We move up into the lead of the race, and we're going to hold on to P1 for as long as we possibly can. But we still have a few amount of cars behind us in this race. The safety car wasn't too long ago in this race. We now cut ahead to lap 11. Jenson Button using the DRS to his advantage down in towards turn 3. This seems like a good overtaking spot for the AI drivers in today's race, as we have seen so far, as Jenson Button slides up the inside. We're going to hold the outside line once again, try not to make contact this time down in towards turn 4, which we don't. Nice side-by-side action between myself and Jenson Button, losing the back end momentarily as we run down in towards this left-hander, then right combination. Still side-by-side with JB, but we get the job done, and there we go, holding on to the lead of the race. We don't want to be going side-by-side down in towards the castle section. We have done that too many times over the years, and it just has not ended well for one driver. Usually it's been the other driver that we've gone side by side in towards this corner with, but one time it could actually happen to us, so we don't want that happening at all. As we now cut ahead to the start of lap 12, 1 lap later, and Jenson Button once again going for the overtake, and he seems a lot closer this time as we go down in towards turn 2. Has he got the job done? For now he has, and he moves over in front of me into the braking zone, so there is no chance for me to go around the outside. Very clever there from Jenson Button. He knew that I was very good at holding it around the outside of turn 3 and getting the inside line in towards turn 4. So this time he stopped that by going right in front of me in towards the braking zone. And there we go, Jenson Button moving up into the lead of the race. But it is not over yet. If we can hold on to the back of the McLaren driver, then we can still do something to try and get back at him, as we're still following him at the moment down in towards this very tricky left-hander. Very tough under braking this corner is, but it looks like we've got the job done for the time being. Still behind Jenson Button at the moment here on lap 13. Down in towards this left-hander, probably the best corner on this circuit in my opinion. Down in towards the fast left, then right chicane, still following behind Jenson Button as we pulled up a massive amount of slipstream. Great straight line speed over on the right hand side on JB, and there we go, getting the job done for the time being. But Jenson Button is going to claw himself back using our slipstream all the way down in towards turn 1. Can he come back? As he looks at has a little look there on the inside line, but unfortunately there for Jenson Button, just not able to go for the overtake at the time being. But here we go, down in towards turn 2. And he's going to have a great opportunity down in towards turn 3. I'm not too sure. I think he will have DRS down this straight. See, we got the job done, which we did. Yes, we got the job done before the DRS detection zone. And there we go, Jenson Button once again on the left-hand side. We're going to have to hold it around the outside for the 4th time in this race against Jenson Button. Side by side in towards turn 4 now. Still JB holds it around the outside. Have we got the job done? Yes, we have. Yes, there we go. Up into the lead of the race once more. And Jenson Button having to settle for P2 once again. So a great battle at the moment between both myself and my fellow Brit of Jenson Button as we go down in towards this right-hander, in towards the castle section once more here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're at about the halfway stage of this race for the European Grand Prix, and so far leading it, we're looking comfortable, but we still do have that challenge of Jenson Button and Nico Rosberg right behind us. We're watching on board now with Danny Kvyat. He's way down the field, disappointing there for Toro Rosso. You know, battling for the championship in Season 3 and Season 4, and now we're way down at the back of the field with Danny Kvyat, falling behind a Sauber and a Manor at this stage of the season. So disappointing there for Danny Kvyat. But he goes in towards the castle section. Looks like he is gaining on both the Sauber of Marcus Ericsson and Pascal Wehrlein. So they go in towards the fast left-handers, in towards the sort of last sector of the circuit. Oh, there's contact with Pascal Wehrlein. Danny Kvyat into the barrier. It looks like he's out of the race. Virtual safety car has been deployed here today. Yes, Danny Kvyat does not look like he is moving down there in towards turn 4. Obviously the driver is moving, but the car not moving at all. But let's have a look at a replay of what's happened to Danny Kvyat. So the Sauber goes for the overtake on Pascal Wehrlein, I believe that is, down in towards the left-hander. Kvyat goes up the inside, and as Wehrlein just goes too slow through that corner, running it wide as they were going side by side, that just forced Kvyat into the side of Pascal Wehrlein, and the result of that pushes him into the wall on the opposite side of the track, and unfortunately he is out of today's race. Let's have a look at a replay of what's happened to the manner of Pascal Wehrlein. So here we go down in towards the first left-hander. Sauber of Marcus Ericsson, I believe it is, goes up the inside in towards that corner. Wehrlein gets compromised on the outside. Unfortunately, there's a contact with Danny Kvyat. Literally nothing that Wehrlein could have done to prevent that. And unfortunately, Kvyat just coming up a little bit too quick into that corner. And that puts him out of today's race. The second DNF for this European Grand Prix. We cut ahead to lap 18 now. And it looks like we may be coming into the pits for our second pit stop in this race. Yes, we are. With 8 laps left to go in this race, coming into the pits for what I'm guessing is going to be another set of super soft tyres. We've got the Williams of Felipe Massa, I believe that is, and also the Ferrari of, I'm going to say Kimi Räikkönen, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. Another quick pit stop there from the Red Bull team, 2 seconds flat. So a great pit stop there from Red Bull. We are going to come out in P5, so not too bad. Pitting for the lead and coming out in P5. We have got the pace on the super soft tyres, and we just need to utilise that to try and catch up to the guys ahead of us. It's going to be a case of Monaco and Canada, where we are on the back foot for now, but hopefully we can come back through the field and see what we can do. Here we go, cutting ahead to lap 21 now. Watching on board with Kevin Magnussen, going on the attack of both the Ferrari and the Force India. Going to go 3 wide down in towards turn 3. Oh, he's been squeezed. An absolute treat there by Kimi Räikkönen. And in the result of that, both drivers going into the barrier, the contact with him. And I can't see Nico Hülkenberg anywhere on screen at the moment. So what's happened to the Force India driver down in towards the corner? We're going to find out now as we get a replay of what exactly happened. So that Hülkenberg on the outside, as we saw with Danny Kvyat, did he get caught out? Yes, he does. Put into the barrier. And unfortunately for him, he's going to have to reverse up when it's clear. And he's going to be way down at the back of the field. Disappointment there for Nico Hülkenberg. So we cut ahead to lap 23 now in this European Grand Prix. Looks like we caught up to the back of Jenson Button in this race. Will we be able to go for the overtake down in towards turn 1? There is still a sizable gap between myself and Jenson Button, so I'm not too sure whether the slipstream and DRS is going to work. It looks like it may do as we go down in towards turn 1. So much quicker there than Jenson Button. We get the job done before we even get to the braking zone of the corner, and there we go, moving up into P4, I believe that is, in today's race. And once again, the battle between us three continues. Myself in 4th place, Jenson Button in 5th for the time being, and Nico Rosberg in 6th. Can JB get the overtake on me down in towards turn 3? Doesn't look like it, but Nico Rosberg is going to try up the inside in towards turn 3. Can they hold it? Yes, they can. Side by side in towards turn 4 now. Nico Rosberg on the outside. Didn't work for Jenson Button, but will it work for the Mercedes driver? Yes, it does. And there we go, Nico Rosberg moving up into P5 in this European Grand Prix. As we have a look at a replay, so this was going on at the same time that we were battling with Jenson Button, and it's Esteban Gutierrez, the man who started in 2nd place in this European Grand Prix, going for the overtake on Sergio Perez and getting the job done in fact, down in towards turn 1. But there are still 3 laps left to go, and we know how quick that Force India is from racing with them in Season 3 and Season 4. So there definitely are going to be opportunities for Sergio Perez using Slipstream and DRS to try and get back at Esteban Gutierrez. But hopefully for the sake of the championship, Esteban Gutierrez can hold off his fellow Mexican compatriot as Nico Rosberg gets a blistering pace out of turn 2, down in towards turn 3. We're going to brake very late in towards turn 3 now, going around the outside, holding on there on Nico Rosberg, getting the job done momentarily down in towards turn 4, side by side with Nico Rosberg in towards turn 4. Can we hold it into turn 5 and turn 6? Yes, we can. Oh my god, still holding on to P4 there against Nico Rosberg. He was so quick out of turn 2 and down towards turn 3 there from Nico Rosberg. And it looks like he's going to try again. The Mercedes has so much straight line speed. He's got the inside line in towards the hairpin. Will we go side by side down through the castle section? No, we won't. Nico Rosberg decides it's not the best opportunity to go for the overtake down towards the castle section. It's never going to work as we are trying to hold off the Mercedes and the McLaren of Nico Rosberg and Jenson Button, trying to hold on to P4 in this race. It's not going to be the race win which we would have hoped for starting in pole position, but we still want to get as many points as we possibly can to stop Sergio Perez getting further and further away from us in the championship. As we have a look at the lead battle at the moment, Gutierrez still holding on to first place. Here comes Sergio Perez though, and moves over to the right hand side. Gutierrez blocks him off. Sergio Perez using Slipstream, using DRS all the way down to the start-finish line, and it looks like Sergio Perez has got the overtake done right to the death of the Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso has to settle for P3 though, can't quite overtake Esteban Gutierrez, and we're going to come down towards the line, holding off both the Mercedes and the McLaren of Nico Rosberg and Jenson Button. It's going to be P4 at the end of the day. Not quite the race win that we wanted, but still P4 is an excellent result here today. Another fantastic race here at the European Grand Prix, the Baku City Circuit in Azerbaijan. It was Sergio Perez who wins today's race, increasing his gap over myself in the championship. Fernando Alonso actually moves up into second place, so it looks like there was a penalty for Esteban Gutierrez in today's race. I'm guessing it was a 5-second penalty for Esteban Gutierrez that has demoted him below Fernando Alonso, because he definitely crossed the line ahead of Fernando Alonso in today's race. We finished the race in 4th place, so a good result for myself. Slightly disappointing as we started at the front of the grid. Not too sure how Esteban Gutierrez and Sergio Perez overtook us, as they were still on the 2-stopper. I can see how Fernando Alonso got the job on the 1-stopper, but quite surprising that both Gutierrez and Perez got past us, but we'll bounce back hopefully at the next race in Austria. Nico Rosberg finished in 5th place right behind me, with Jenson Button in 6th, and Sebastian Vettel in 7th place, and Felipe Massa finishes today's race in 8th, so getting some points there for the Williams team. Lewis Hamilton finishes in 9th place, and Rio Haryanto gets the final point in today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, with Valtteri Bottas and Roman Grosjean just missing out on the top 10 here today. Looking further down the field, Carlos Sainz finishes in 13th place, with my teammate Daniel Ricciardo making his way up through the field, but could only manage P14. There was Marcus Ericsson in 15th, Felipe Nasr in 16th, and Kimi Räikkönen finishing in 17th place, with Kevin Magnussen 18th, Pascal Wehrlein 19th, Nico Hülkenberg, disappointing race there for the German, in 20th, with Danny Kvyat and Jolyon Palmer the only 2 drivers to DNF here today. Driver standings then after 8 rounds of this championship, and Sergio Perez leads the way still. 43 points is the gap at the moment in the championship. He is running away with Season 5 right now, but with some upgrades coming to the car, hopefully by the British Grand Prix, then hopefully we can pull back Sergio Perez in the championship. Fernando Alonso moves above his teammate Jenson Button, with Sebastian Vettel moving up into 7th, and Esteban Gutierrez after that 2nd place moving into the top 10 on 30 points for the season. Constructors Championship now, and unfortunately because of that no points finish there from Daniel Ricciardo, that means McLaren Honda once again move above us in the championship, but the gap between 2nd and 3rd is only 2 points. So with a good race hopefully at the Austrian Grand Prix, we can claw back McLaren Honda and get back that 2nd spot, but Force India still lead the way. 41 points over McLaren Honda and 43 points over ourselves in P3. The Haas team move above Toro Rosso after that second place here today. So great result there for Esteban Gutierrez. But that is it for the European Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash a like on today's video. Subscribe to the channel for weekly F1 content, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. But I'll see you next time at the Austrian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.